On behalf of the New Zealand Government, to offer a formal and unreserved apology to Pacific communities for the discriminatory implementation of the immigration laws of the 1970s that led to the events of the Dawn Raids.
What was your immediate reaction when you heard there were no active cases of COVID-19 remaining in New Zealand?
I did a little dance. I consider this job a privilege, but I am also human, and so my reflection has been an entirely personal one.
Welcome back to About That. I'm Lauren Bird. So I want to get to a political resignation now that, frankly, was pretty shocking. After nearly 6 years as Prime Minister of New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern resigned. During a press conference, she spoke about the toll the job has taken on her.
This summer, I had hoped to find a way to prepare not just for another year, but another term, because that is what this year requires. I have not been able to do that. And so today I'm announcing that I will not be seeking re-election, and that my term as Prime Minister will conclude no later than the 7th of February. This has been the most fulfilling 5.5 years of my life, but it has also had its challenges. I know what this job takes, and I know that I no longer have enough in the tank to do it justice. It's that simple. I know there will be much discussion in the aftermath of this decision as to what the so-called real reason was. I can tell you that what I'm sharing today is it. The only interesting angle that you will find is that after going on 6 years of some big challenges, I am human. Politicians are human. We give all that we can for as long as we can, and then it's time. And for me, it's time.
I mean, how many times have you heard a political leader allude to burnout? If you think about it, Ardern's announcement could have the potential to really affect the conversation around workplace mental health, because she said it herself. She no longer had enough in the tank to do her job justice. So instead of just powering through, this feels like a chance to focus on knowing when to bow out. And when we look back, it's clear to see that she faced more than a few challenges as PM. But it was her approach, her unique approach to many of the issues facing New Zealand that really defined her time as a leader, like her response to the deadly shooting in Christchurch.
We are here because of the victims and families. And I have to reflect, Mr. Speaker, that when I visited the hospitals and the victims, that none of them had just one gunshot wound. I struggled to recall any single gunshot wounds. In every case, they spoke of multiple injuries, multiple debilitating injuries, because these weapons were designed to kill, and they were designed to maim, and that is what they did on the 15th of March.
Ardern introduced sweeping gun control legislation after that. She banned all types of semi-automatic weapons and assault rifles following the mass shootings at 2 mosques that killed 51 people. Or think about her tough calls during the COVID-19 crisis, including New Zealand's zero COVID policy, despite some stark opposition.
We will move to alert level 3 nationwide. After 48 hours, the time required to ensure essential services are in place, we will move to level 4. These decisions will place the most significant restrictions on New Zealanders' movements in modern history.
And all of that while constantly being scrutinized for being a woman. I mean, remember this?
Yeah, a lot of people will be wondering, are you two meeting just because, you're similar in age and, got a lot of, common stuff there, when you got into politics and stuff? Or can Kiwis actually expect to see more deals between our two countries down the line? Because
my first question is, I wonder whether or not anyone ever asked Barack Obama and John Key if they met because they were of similar age. We, of course, have a higher proportion of men in politics. It's reality. Because two women meet, it's not simply because of their gender. Little would be known about the depth of that relationship or the potential of it, but it's our job to further it, regardless of our gender.
So internationally, Ardern made a mark for her strong stances. But at home in New Zealand, her popularity waned over the past year and a half. Her polling plummeted to some of the lowest levels of her political career as the economic fallout from COVID-19 set in and New Zealand's economy was heading towards a recession. Her last day in office was this past Tuesday, and her replacement is Chris Hipkins, who led the country's COVID-19 response in 2020. He was sworn in yesterday as the new PM. An election is looming in New Zealand in the fall, so there may be more change on the horizon. But this feels like a rare moment of pause in the public eye on the world stage, to be real about what it means to be stretched to the limit and when to walk away.